Welcome everyone, and thank you for tuning in. For today's episode, in addition to reviewing the newest releases, I have a special film to talk about. This was a surprise nominee for Best Animated Feature, titled Boy and the World, an independent Brazilian film about a little boy who finds himself traveling from the country to the big city. I don't have an audio clip to play you, mainly because the film is completely dialogue-free, save for a bit of distorted Portuguese. The film is mostly told with the visuals, and they are very striking. Director Aleu Abreu clearly put a lot of imagination and thought into the kaleidoscopic imagery, with the hand-drawn animation having a feel almost similar to cut-out construction paper. It's a simple story, and that's a part of its charm, as we basically see the film from the point of view of the title character, and figuring things out right along with him. The music also does a good job of pulling you in. However, the film takes a rather unexpected turn as it soon shifts into becoming a commentary with an anti-corporate, anti-fascist, and pro-environmental message. Certainly all important themes, but it's maybe a little too on the nose. Nonetheless, it's a solid film, and it's always nice when these small and underseen films get this recognition of such magnitude. Although, if I have to be honest, I personally would have nominated the Peanuts movie over Boy in the World. Not a slight at this film, but I just connected more to the childhood world of Peanuts and its inhabitants and themes. However, I do recommend it, and I look forward to what Aleu Abreu directs in the future. Next up is a new take on a classic piece of literature, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
A parachute?
Carrion flies. They are in the possession of but one truly enviable talent. The ability to detect dead flesh.
The buzzing is frightfully loud.
Well, it's not the buzzing that should concern you, madam, but rather when the buzzing stops.
Oh dear.
How do you make a movie called Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, either as a silly comedy or you tell it straight? And part of what I like about this movie is it plays it straight and gives you exactly what it says on the tin. It's Jane Austen's classic story, but told with zombies. A lot of her wit is kept intact, even as the Bennet sisters are practicing battle moves, or when Elizabeth and Darcy are fighting with both fists and words. The filmmakers have clearly gone to great pains to make sure the production values look like what you typically find in something like Sense and Sensibility. The casting is also excellent and spot on. Lily James, fresh off Cinderella, is wonderful as Elizabeth, and she seems almost born to play these classic literary roles. Sam Riley also portrays Darcy with the right coldness, but also admiration for Elizabeth. That has always made these two such an interesting couple. Meanwhile, Matt Smith of Doctor Who fame is very funny as a possible suitor for the Bennet sisters. Around the third act, it seems to become more of your typical zombie action picture, but at this point, I grew to like the characters so much that I was still engaged with it. I do think this might appeal more to those who have a soft spot for Jane Austen than those looking for excessive brain-chomping. I actually kind of think Austen herself would get a kick out of this interpretation of her story. And finally, we have the latest comedy from the Coen Brothers, Hail Caesar, which takes us back to the golden age of Hollywood with a usual whimsical sense of humor.
Watch my mouth. Would that it were so simple?
Would that it were so simple.
Keep your head still. Would that it were so simple.
Would that it were so simple.
Would that it were so simple.
I'm trying to say that, Mr. Lawrence.
Lawrence,
I thought a minute ago it was Lawrence.
No, we can use Christian names, my good dear boy. Lawrence is fine, just as I call you Hobie.
Okay.
So, would that it were so simple.
Would that it were so simple.
Would that it were so simple. Trippingly.
Would that it were so simple. Trippingly.
No, don't say trippingly. Say the line trippingly.
The Coen Brothers seem to jump between dreary drama, dark comedies, and goofy, lightweight comedies. This is definitely the third one, but that's certainly not a bad thing. They litter Hail Caesar with a fun set of characters, as we go from soundstage to soundstage. As somebody with fondness for old-school Hollywood movies, I enjoy the Coens doing their own take on the musical, by golly western, and Roman epic. They captured the right details of that era, and the actors clearly got into their roles with a lot of relish. Even the smallest part, including Frances McDormand as a clumsy editor and Tilda Swinton as a gossip columnist with a unique rivalry, bring a lot of joy to the film. Seeing the ins and outs of how these movies are made also provide a lot of fun. If there's a flaw here, it's that the narrative is a tad loose. The script feels like a bunch of sketches strung together, and the least interesting part is actually the central storyline of George Clooney being kidnapped. I feel they could have done more with the Red Scare that was so prevalent at the time. Despite those issues, this is still a very funny Coen Brothers comedy, and frankly, if you're already a fan of their work, you'll find plenty to enjoy. On a side note, I'd like to recommend The Hudsucker Proxy, which is still the most underrated work. Give it a look sometime. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.